So here it is, the start of a new year. Welcome 2026. And so many people are focused on their goals, their aspirations, their New Year's resolutions, and trying to get lots of things accomplished in the new year. A new year is like a blank slate, right? And we can just kind of write our own story this year, make our own goals happen. We have the whole 12 months ahead of us to plan. Me, however, I've been procrastinating a little for the last couple months. So I am trying to get back on track and refocus my goals and kind of change my thinking a little bit so I can accomplish and crush those goals in 2026. Hi, my name is K.A Bloch, and I am the award winning author and poet of 4 books that consist of poetry and prose. My channel is called The Practical Poet, and I also have a blog of the same name at thepracticalpoet.com, where each week I feature a different poem in written form, and also I post the whole poem along with the backstory as to how it came to be. And this week, being a new year and focusing on those goals, I decided to focus on a poem called Stay the Course. And this is from my latest book called Sow Seeds of Wisdom. Sorry if there's some glare on there. And this is a poem that is all about trying to stay the course and trying to stay on track to making those goals happen. It can be a little daunting when you are first starting out on, with a new goal or something that you want to accomplish. And, it can overwhelm you to the point of you say, not today, I'm not going to start it today. It's like that old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? And when you have a goal and you are trying to accomplish something, you can't accomplish it all at once in most cases. Let's say your goal is to write a book. You're not going to write that book all in one day or one month or even maybe even one year, but you can do it in smaller chunks. I started procrastinating on my goals about 5 or 6 months ago. I was just like, I don't have time for all this stuff. I don't have time to do videos and to post and to work and to, do all the leisurely things that I like to do. And I'm like, something has to give. And so I really put some of my goals and things that I wanted to accomplish on the back burner and said, someday I'll get to them, but not right now. And this year I'm kind of changing my thinking a little bit. And instead of thinking about, I don't have time for this or I can't do this, I'm too busy, I'm changing my focus to say, what can I do? What can I accomplish? So maybe I can't, post 10 times on social media, but can I post twice? Yeah, sure, I can probably do that. Maybe I can't put out 5 videos, which I never did anyway, but, can I put out two? Yeah, I can probably do that. So thinking in more in terms of what can I do instead of I don't have time for that, or instead of the I what can't I do, or kind of putting the brakes on my goals before they even start, kind of putting those doubts in my head that whether or not I can accomplish them, by changing my focus and saying what can I do. So this poem talks a lot about obstacles, that when you're trying to accomplish something, people are always going to try to stand in your way, maybe try to prevent you from reaching those goals. And I don't think that they do it because they're ill intentioned or because they want to see us fail. I think to some extent people fear change, and if people see you changing, that may give them a little bit of anxiety. They may question their own lives. And boy, you have these big goals and these big aspirations, but they may not have anything that they want to accomplish, and they may feel kind of bad about that or kind of funny. And so in order to make themselves feel better about that, they're going to kind of poo-poo what you're working on, and they're going to kind of say, what are you doing that for? What are you spending your time working on that? Or why do you want to lose weight? Why don't you go out to the bar with us tonight and we're going to big plate of nachos and drink a couple beers, and silently try to throw you off course a little bit so that you don't, pursue those dreams or those goals, because they may be a little bit fearful that how is your change and the change that you're trying to accomplish going to impact or going to change them. And people are a little bit nervous about that. It's not only other people that create obstacles, our own minds and our own brains create obstacles for us. And our brain, its main goal is to try to keep us safe, and it keeps us safe by keeping us in the confines of doing things the way that we've always done. It's when we step outside those confines that our brain, gets a little wacky, and it cranks up the anxiety, and it cranks up the nervous stomach and says, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're taking things a little bit too far. Let's reel it back in." And that tries to keep us in that same safe zone that we've always been in. But we can overcome that. We can be we can step outside the confines that our brain is trying to keep us in, that little box that says, "Stay here, you're safe." We can say, "You know what? Yeah, I am safe, but I'm also not growing here inside this little box. And I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a step outside this box and see what I can accomplish out here." And we have the power to kind of veto our own constraints, our own brain trying to keep us safe by saying, "I'm going to try this and see what happens. And what is the worst that can happen? Maybe I won't be able to accomplish that goal, but at least I'll have tried." So it's not only other people that create those obstacles, we create them in our own brains and our own mind, right? We say, like, I used to tell myself, "I don't have time for this." That was an obstacle. Some people, maybe will say, "I don't have the money to pursue this goal, or this go on this big vacation, or invest in a book, or invest in whatever it is that I want to work on. I don't have that kind of money, or I don't have the support of my family, or even the confidence." There's always going to be those obstacles and those things that are going to try to hold us back from accomplishing our goals. But how do we get around that? We just have to keep focusing on what we want to accomplish and break it down into smaller chunks. And, we stay the course. We just keep moving forward. And I think it was Martin Luther King. I have a quote in here in my book, and I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. I could be wrong about that. Let me go ahead and turn here to my page. And it was, I need to get a better bookmark because I have it marked with a sticky note here and it's not finding my page here. And yeah, it was Martin Luther King Jr. It says, the quote is, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step." And when it comes to staying the course, that is great. A great piece of advice, kind of like that. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You don't have to accomplish everything all at once, but we break things down into smaller chunks. I do that all the time. If I have a work project or something, I say, "I'm going to spend 25 minutes, like the Pomodoro technique. I'm just going to spend 25 minutes on this. I'm going to accomplish what I can, take a little break, come back to it, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe that's all I'm going to do today." When it comes to kind of if your goal is to write a book, you're not going to write that whole book in one day. You're not going to write it, like I mentioned earlier, even in a year. But maybe today you can write a chapter, and maybe this week you can write a couple of chapters. And if that feels like it's too much, maybe you can write 500 words today, and maybe tomorrow you can write 500 more. And eventually by the end of the week, maybe you'll have that chapter done. So we don't have to, when we set out to do these goals, accomplish everything all at once. But it does help to make some progress toward our goals, and it really does help to stay the course. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into the poetry reading of Stay the Course. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick sip of tea here. We have a nice sunny day. It was snowing earlier today, and then it was sunny, and then it was raining, and it's kind of, I think we've had all four seasons today in one day, except maybe summer. It's been actually kind of cold out, but aside from that, right now it's sunny and blue sky, but we're supposed to get snow later, so we'll see what happens. So again, this is a video poetry reading of Stay the Course from my latest book called Sow Seeds of Wisdom, and it's a little bit longer, so I hope that you stick with me. If you choose not to stick with me to the end of this video poetry reading, I hope that you'll head over to my blog. Again, that is at thepracticalpoet.com, and then /blog, and look for the poem called Stay the Course. When you have a goal in mind, but it feels so far away, when you want to throw your hands up and save it for another day, when the obstacles in front of you feel like too great of a force, keep on persevering. Stay the course. Stay the course. When the burdens that you're carrying are too heavy of a load and you want to turn around and head down a different road, when you want to change direction, but you'll feel remorse, keep on moving forward. Stay the course. Stay the course. Your goal will come with challenges that may seem too hard to achieve. Fear will creep into your head, tempting you to believe. Obstacles will come along and deter you from your route. Hurdles will delay progress and fill your head with doubt. These doubts that crawl into your head will try to bring you down, but don't allow them in. hold your ground, hold your ground. People will try to bring you down and tell you that you'll fail. You'll wonder if they're right and if you should pursue a different trail. But don't believe their words and don't suffer their wrath. Stick to your commitment. Stay the path. Stay the path. Focus on your goals and visualize the end. Don't listen to the naysayers and don't try to defend. You believe in what you're doing and you know it's in your soul. You only have yourself to please as you move toward your goal. This is an undertaking that only you can enforce. As you focus on the target, stay the course, stay the course. So that was a video poetry reading of Stay the Course from Sow Seeds of Wisdom. Again, focusing on those goals. Just a couple follow-ups here. The one um, line in here, you want to change direction, but you know you'll feel remorse. I really do believe that if you have a goal in your heart and if you have something that you want to accomplish and you're really committed to it, if you kind of put it on the back burner and you don't focus on it and you just say, oh, maybe someday, I do think you're going to feel that remorse. I feel like if we, the time and effort that we put into our goals, once they're realized, we're so grateful that we stuck with it. We're so, happy and pleased with ourselves. It gives you a new feeling of confidence to know that not only set out to accomplish this goal, but that you crushed it and that you accomplished it, and you can now move on to the next goal that's in line, and that helps you grow. That's what we want as people, right? So I really do feel like if we do put those things on the back burner, we will feel that remorse. And then, just again, poem touches on those obstacles, the people that will try to deter you from accomplishing your goals, the people that will say, what are you trying to do that? And the naysayers and all that. And you really just have to just keep focusing on your goals. And as the poem repeats twice, stay the course, stay the course. So I hope that whatever your goal is in 2026, that you're able to accomplish it, that you have the means, financial and time and support and all those things to make your goal a reality this year. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bid goodbye and say Happy New Year. Go crush those goals. And I would love for you to check out my blog at thepracticalpoet.com. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great weekend. Bye.